welcome to Amazing Race. Today we have our guests who are a couple. They're married. They want to share a story with us of what God has done in their lives. So I'm gonna let my guests introduce themselves. Welcome, Ajy and Bob.
Yes, hello everyone. I am brother AJ, Andrew Joseph, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Valoret. You can call me Val. I'm a wife to my beautiful husband here. She already introduced us. I have two daughters and one boy.
Amazing.
And I'm a daughter and a friend.
Yes. How has the journey been in Canada, and how did you guys transition? Because I do understand that you are from Haiti, right?
That's right.
Yes,
right.
and you are from Kenya. So, how is the journey, and tell us about your transition to Canada, that is.
Oh, that's a very good question. I remember back in 2009 when I was still living in the Bahamas. I'm originally from Haiti, and but I spent all my life in Nassau, Bahamas. When I was about I was born in Haiti when I was about 5 years old. My mom and I traveled from Haiti to Nassau, Bahamas to meet my dad where he was working and supporting the family. So we joined together to have this one big family, being successful, working, making money, and just improving our livelihood. We had people in the Bahamas who became jealous of us, and long story short, our lives became in danger, and we had to go into hiding. And from that, we were looking for a country where we can flee.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So that is what brought us into Canada, because we had a friend. My dad had a friend who fled to Canada before, and my dad was in contact with him, and he was, getting my dad through the procedures and of becoming a refugee.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And my dad brought it to my mom, and we discussed it as a family. And with that being said, we was making plans to go. Truly, I did not want to come to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I did not want to come.
Yeah.
Because I did my research and I learned that Canada is very cold. I read all the negative reviews about it, and
Yes.
I'm telling you, I was comfortable as much as I was living in Bahamas and my
Yes.
life was in danger.
Yes.
All my friends were there. All my family was there. I was afraid of leaving that. We came during the time of the winter season when it was minus 25 degrees.
Yes.
It was very cold, and me coming from a tropical warm place, never know what cold is.
Yeah.
And there's a joke that when I came from Nassau, Bahamas to Canada, I came in my little short pants, my Caribbean little attire, right? My shorts and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so cold, I cried that night.
Because you weren't prepared for the weather
I
in
literally
Canada.
cried that night because I did not know I was coming to winter.
Yes.
Right?
Many people want to go to Bahamas because they think it's the best place, like the beaches and all, the way we just see it in pictures. So is it that real?
Pictures does not justify. Coming from me, a guy who was like literally raised almost all my life in Nassau, Bahamas.
Yes.
I still miss it to this day. I've never been back since over 11 years now, and I'm telling you, the water is so crystal clear. If you drop a coin 10 feet down, you'll be able to see it.
Oh wow.
It's very beautiful. It has a nickname of being called Paradise Island.
Oh my goodness. So I just knew that today. All right. Tell us something about yourself and your transition in Canada.
Yeah, as I said before, I'm from Kenya. I was born in Nakuru County. Those who are from Kenya. A place called Gilgil. I stayed there. I went to high school in Kericho.
Yes.
A school called Cities Girls. And then in 2010 I graduated. 2011 we came here, December 2011. My dad was here before, so he invited us.
Yes.
He came as a whole family, my mom and my three sisters and my brother.
Yes.
And in 2011 we stayed the whole time indoors because it was cold and we were newcomers.
Yes.
There was nothing to do with just indoors.
Yes.
I loved winter.
So you two came during
totally different,
winter.
yeah.
I know, right?
Yes.
And that was my first time to see snow. So we were, and at that year into 11, the snow came so late in January. So we were always on the window, just when is the snow coming? Like, we were so excited.
Yes.
And then into 12, I went to an adult school, Youngdale Adult Learning Center.
Yes, yes.
I went there, I got my high school diploma. Into 13, I joined Ryerson. And it was pretty easy, and I loved it. Yeah, I loved it.
So, how you two guys met?
Oh, very interesting. We actually met at church, but before that, we were we met at church. Our family goes to the church, but before I met her at the church, my sister went to the church before I started going to that specific church where she goes to. I used to go to Philadelphia Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Yeah.
And she went to All Nations Seventh Adventist Church. It was about 45 minutes away,
Yes.
apart. 45 minutes apart. And my sisters started going to that church, and they've always tried to get me to go with them,
Yes.
but I've never had an interest to go there. And I understand why now. It's because I was dating a girl before my wife, and it was a very toxic relationship.
Yes.
And I was very confused. So you can imagine meeting my wife then would have been, it probably wouldn't turn out
Yeah, I wouldn't have turned out the way it
as
is
well.
now.
So God,
Yes.
God knows, he sets everything up
Yes.
so that His will be ultimately be accomplished. Anyway, eventually when that relationship was ended,
Yes.
I had a ministry I started, and in that ministry, I gathered a group of individuals who had the same faith as I did, and they invited other people, and we were studying the Bible together.
Yeah.
And during that process, my sisters were still trying to get me to come to the church, but I was always hesitant
Yes.
to go for some reason. I don't know, I can't explain it, but I know now. I was slowly going towards, I want to go to All Nations. It was All Nations is a predominantly African church, right?
Yes.
So they do things different, they worship different. At first I didn't like it, and then I said, let me just go. 'Cause
Yes.
I'm going to church to worship anyway.
Yes. Yes.
But I realized that people are very nice.
Wow.
I've never met nice people like that at all. I mean, Kenyans are very nice.
Yes. Yes.
And within a few minutes and a few hours, I fell in love with the people. And I said, I'm coming back again. But I didn't see my wife at that time. I didn't see her at that time. And then I came back the second time, and then I started seeing these young people, But at that time, because of my time with God and Him preparing me, my focus wasn't to go look for a woman.
It wasn't.
So when I was around those young ladies, I didn't have a desire to, or any attraction for any of them,
Yeah.
right? I just wanted to fellowship and mingle and just be in that gathering with the brethren. And lo and behold, the third Sabbath, my wife was handing out cards because her friend was engaged and she was about to get married.
Yeah.
And she was handing out cards, and immediately I saw her. I'm not kidding you. A thought came to my mind. I said, "This is going to be my wife." It was just I never experienced something so certain before.
Yeah.
And I said, "This is going to be my wife," and I just knew she was going to be my wife. But me being afraid of approaching and doing my thing,
Yes.
I didn't want to make the same decision or go along the same path I did before with all the relationships I've been in,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
I said, just going to sit back, observe, pray. So I sat back, observe, and pray. And I invited her to my Bible studies. Okay? And my Bible studies would start every Friday and every Sunday evenings at 7 p.m.
Yes.
7 p.m. to 8 p.m. It would be an hour, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And I would usually go on at 7 p.m. sharp. Sometimes I will be on for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and people wouldn't come on yet until later on. And but when she joined, I would meet her on the line every time. She'll be the first one. And I'm like, what's wrong with this lady? I'm the leader, and she's always on before me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So she really sparked my interest even more to like really like get to know who this girl really is. So one thing about her, whenever I would do my Bible study, she would always have questions, and I loved it because she brought the best out of me.
Yes.
Because when you're doing a Bible study and you have a gift to teach, and you have questions coming at you, it actually brings out the potential of searching and digging deeper to give the answers that people ask. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So sometimes she would ask me questions and I wouldn't have the answer. I would tell her I'll come back to you on that later, and it would push me to further my study. And so every Saturday we would go and we would have studies, but I didn't want my emotions to get involved because I didn't want my judgment to be clouded because God was doing something.
Yes.
And I wanted Him to do it His way. And I didn't want to take the lead and say, hey, you know what, I'm interested in you, because I was starting to really be fond of her. Right? And I sat back and I prayed. I'm like, God, what's going on here? I'm getting this impression that this is going to be my wife, and I don't want to, do things on my own accord. I want you to lead me.
Yes.
I think that he's saying it.
I'm sorry.
He just told us everything. Yes.
So if you don't get along, we don't like run to our parents and tell them this is going on.
Yes.
Go to God and trust Him. You will always get an answer, and He does one.
Amen.
And we've gone through up and downs, and when it comes to money wise and children rearing, sometimes He has His own ways to rear the children, and I have my own ways. And all the time we go to God and we ask Him, God, what do you want us to do? And usually we have an answer immediately.
Yes. Amen to that. Okay, coming back to you, AJ. We always have that situation. There is that situation as a couple. Yeah, I know you're a couple, but there is that one situation that usually gets you on your knees whenever you remember that situation that happened and God pulled you through. Can you share with us that situation that has got you rooted into the things of God more, that such that you now depend on God on everything?
Well, man, my whole life has been situations where God has seen me through, where He has brought me out of. But one situation was, this is a true story. I remember back home, back in the Bahamas, when I was coming from church, I remember, we used to live beside most of you might not believe in the supernatural, but I'm a strong believer in the supernatural.
Yes.
Because I've experienced it and I've witnessed it, and it's real. We used to have a neighbor who was a witch doctor. She practiced witchcraft, and she hated us with a gut. And us as a praying family, we was a very praying family. At least not me, my parents. And it's because of my parents.
Yes.
It's because my parents are, them praying without ceasing, that I received that protection. But I remember one time I was coming from church, a Wednesday evening service, and the church ended around 9. The service ended around 9 p.m. and I was walking home, and my house was across the street, right across the street. So I had to cross the street in order to get home. And as I'm crossing the street, there was no cars.
Yeah.
And the minute I stepped my foot on the road to cross, I got to the middle, a car came out of nowhere and ran. It was almost like it came to run me over. But something very supernatural happened.
Yeah.
The car went through me, but I was unharmed. at that time I could never understood how it happened until now. And it was the power of God.
Yes, yes,
The power of God
yes,
that shielded, protected me.
yes, yes.
And that was my first time I ever knew that the power of God
Yes.
in my life, the power of God in my life.
Yes.
And at that time, my faith in God to protect me was even greater than ever before.
Let me add some.
Yes.
We try to have a testimony. We had 2 daughters first. And then my husband's family is the only son. Yes. And we are the only brother. So people used to come and tell me, "Wow, do you think you're gonna get a son?" I'm like, yes. No, you're not gonna get a son. Look, your husband is the only son and you only have one brother. I don't think you're gonna get a son. And then this person specifically, I don't wanna call names, came and told me, "Val, are you gonna get a son?" I'm like, "Yes." "Are you sure?" "Yes." "And I don't think you're gonna get a son." I'm like, "Okay, I'll pray about it. Even if you pray you're not gonna get a son," I was like, "Okay, we're gonna see." And then I make sure at that time I've not experienced a miracle like that.
Yeah.
That was my first miracle. So I make sure every morning, my husband can testify that. Every morning I wake up, go to a prayer room. We have a prayer room, a closet, small closet.
Yes.
And pray and ask God, please, let these people talk about it. Let them see that God, there's a God and there's a God who can answer prayers.
Amen.
After a month, I had a dream. That I was in the hospital. I gave birth to a son. And he just looked exactly like the way my son was. When he was
Man.
And this was months before this was like months, close to a year before she was pregnant.
Amen to that. Wow.
Yeah,
And-
it's amazing.
Sorry, babe, to cut you, but I just want to add to that. She had the dream, but I had the dream a month before she had the dream.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I dreamt that I was giving birth in the hospital, but what God had planned is different from what we planned. We were
Yes,
planning that I
yes.
wanted a home birth, I wanted to give birth with the midwives at home. We planned everything, but whatever God planned, it turned out the way.
And the way he looked, exactly how we saw it.
Exactly.
That is how God works. Yeah. So what is that? Like I want you to encourage people out there. Yeah, about what God has done to you. So just encourage somebody there because we know people pass through situations, yeah, and some have lost their trust in God. Some think that it's taking God too long to answer something. Can you encourage somebody out there? Yeah, then we're gonna move to AJ. Okay, AJ can start that.
You want me to start that?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
please.
Yes.
You might pray for something in a way where you want it to happen, but sometimes God might say no because He wants to protect you from whatever you're asking for, and He would give you something way better in replacement of what you asked. But what I can say is, coming from me, I'm not worthy of anything that God has done for me because I'm a sinner. Like Paul, I feel like I'm a chief of sinners. I feel like I don't deserve anything that God has done for me, but because He allowed all the good things that He had in thought for me to come to pass, and the same thing He can do for you. God does not love you no less. To trust Him, no matter what you're going through, no matter the darkest storm, God is still by your side. You might not be able to see Him or feel Him, but He's there. There's nothing that can separate you from Him. I'm a living testimony of that. For the things I have done in life, for the things that I have said to people, for the things that I have, the evil thoughts I had, and for God to still be here with me to the point where He has me here now, testifying of Him, it's a miracle. And I would tell you, just keep your relationship, pray, get to know Him more, because He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him.
I like the part where you say that God is closer us.
Yes.
And he really talks to us. I remember I was born as in the Adventist. I grew up as in the Adventist until later on. I remember I didn't know what God, like when God speaks to us, I didn't know how it feels. People would be like, God spoke to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
how is it possible?
Yes.
Like, is it like Moses?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. But then until it happened to me.
Thank you guys. It was a pleasure having you on the show, and I hope that you've been blessed by their story. God is closer than you ever think. So God bless you. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.